Ahead on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
We'll take you to an award-winning cattle operation in southwest Iowa. Plus, we'll head to Arkansas to check out the World Championship Steak Cook-Off.
And now, NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. In our news this week, the EPA's proposed rule governing waters of the United States continues to generate serious concern among landowners and all those involved in agriculture. Maps have been released which show the streams and other bodies of water where EPA would gain jurisdiction. And Ashley McDonald with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association says it's clear the potential for a massive regulatory land grab that would impact cattlemen across the nation is very real.
It can mean everything. We just completed a round of mappings trying to look at the difference just in the streams that would be regulated under this proposal. The results are just amazing, and amazing in a not a good way. Just hundreds of thousands of more miles of regulated streams throughout the country. Those are the real life impacts that this regulation can have on cattle producers, and that's what we're trying to explain to EPA are the real life impacts. And of course we continue to try to do so, but it is an uphill battle still.
And that uphill battle is why NCBA, the American Farm Bureau Federation, and other organizations are calling on producers to submit comments to EPA, urging them to ditch the rule. To submit your comments, go to the website beefusa.org. There's a link there to quickly and easily voice your opinion to the EPA. The public comment period is open until October 20th. 2014 may be a year of record profits for many cattle producers, and that could mean higher tax bills. One way to offset those tax bills is with purchases of equipment and services. And if you're in the market for new equipment or a new truck, NCBA can help save serious money. Here to talk about some valuable discounts available to NCBA members is Kate Maher. Kate, is it true that NCBA members can really save some serious money on some major purchases yet this fall?
It sure is, Kevin. We have great relationships with companies that understand the importance of what NCBA does for their customers. And with these relationships, we're proud to offer some discounts back to our members to thank them for their support. Our newest benefit is if you're looking for a new pickup, now's never been a better time. Ram Trucks is offering discounts on all Chrysler Group vehicles just to NCBA members. It equates to about 10% off sticker price, or 1% off the manufacturer's suggested retail price. And then additional dealer incentives on top of that. We had a guy in Oklahoma save $7,000 on the purchase of a new pickup. New Holland and John Deere offer discounts up to $1,000 on equipment. So anybody looking for a new tractor or hay baler, now's the time to do it, and you can save $1,000. Cabela's gift cards, there's discounts on those for our sportsman friends. Save some money on those. You can buy up to $2,000 plus on a gift card and save some money on whatever you might want. Then of course we have Roper and Stetson have some discounts on boots and clothes that make great Christmas presents too.
Yeah, absolutely. I've taken advantage of some of that.
Yes,
good. Tell us about new members. If folks aren't currently a member, are there some specific incentives for new members?
Absolutely. We don't want anybody to miss the train on these benefits. So anybody joining NCBA now will get a 1-liter bottle of Dectomax Poron from Zoetis. That's a $105 value that more than pays for the membership.
And again, as you think about NCBA members and saving some money for tax purposes, I guess it's kind of important to do that yet this fall before December 31st, right?
Exactly. Our tax guy used to say whatever happens on January 1st or December 31st, whether you get married or have a baby or buy or sell cattle, it happens in the tax year. So you have till December 31st to make some nice purchases for yourself, or maybe your wife needs a new pickup for Christmas, Kevin.
Don't give her any ideas. That's right. Well, tell me this. You spent a lot of time on the road talking to a lot of folks. What are you hearing out in the country?
Well, cattle prices, folks are optimistic. Cow-calf guys are getting record prices for their cattle. Good moisture in most parts of the country. I know our friends in California sure could use some rain. It's pretty dry out there, and so we'll keep praying for that. But really, there's so much optimism in the industry right now. They're just really happy to be involved with NCBA because that that is an insurance policy that they get to stay home and do the very important job of producing beef to feed this growing world and know that they have people looking out for them in Washington, D.C. every day.
It's a good time to be in the cattle business, and sounds like an even better time to be an NCBA member, particularly with some of these incentives and discounts.
It is. You can almost make money being an NCBA member, and we sure need your support. We need everybody on board with us because the battles are only going to get tougher, but we sure appreciate the support of all our members and look forward to new ones joining.
Thanks for coming, Kate.
Thanks, Kevin.
It's easy to join NCBA and take advantage of all the discounts and member benefits. Just give us a call at 1-866-USA-BEEF or go to the website beefusa.org. The Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame honors some of the nation's best and most committed cattle feeders and the men and women who work for them. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Russell Nemitz has the story on this year's 6th annual event.
No matter the season or the weather, cattle feeders tend to their animals every single day, providing feed, water, and overall care. Once a year, the industry comes together at the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame to honor the people who've made such a difference.
I think like so many aspects of agriculture, the producers tend to be overlooked. The hard work, the commitment that is 24/7, 365. It really, to me, is one of the greatest symbols of how America was made and what has made our country great. And we want to celebrate that by honoring the ranchers here tonight.
You know, with the Cattle Feeding Hall of Fame, to be inducted into it really means that you're one of the people that have made a difference in this industry, that have really been one of the pioneers that are forging the way and showing the young people today that it's a great industry to be in.
It was a night filled with honor and celebration as two individuals were inducted into the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame at the 2014 event in Denver. One of the new inductees was the late J.R. Jack Simplot of Boise, Idaho. He will always be known for using the non-typical resources in his area to feed cattle more efficiently.
Cattle, the whole industry was in my father's blood. He was a pioneer in a way. I believe he was, we started in the potato processing business and we had a lot of potato peelings that we didn't know quite what to do with. So we started out with feeding the potato peelings to the cattle, which thinking, that would give us a bit of an edge over competition. And it did for many, many years.
He's an awesome man. Not just in the cattle feeding business, but ranching, farming, food processing, mining. He was just awesome guy. Probably one of the most optimistic men I've ever been around, ever.
Also inducted into the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame was Roy Dinsdale from Palmer, Nebraska. Throughout his life, Dinsdale has been deeply rooted in the cattle feeding business. His career in banking gave him the chance to work closely with cattle feeders in many different states.
What I really enjoy about the cattle business, it goes back as far as I can remember. There are so many honorable people. There are so many deals made just by the shake of a hand or an okay on the phone.
I was here to honor Roy Dinsdale. I think a lot of J.R. Simplot also. They're legends in our business for a reason. Their leadership and their hard work is what has brought our industry where it is today.
Joining the new inductees in celebration, a one-of-a-kind cowboy from Dar Feedlot in Cozad, Nebraska was recognized with the Distinguished Service Award. As a young boy, Brad Thomas lost both arms in a farming accident. Today, he is a pen writer we can all learn a thing or two from.
Brad has worked for us for about 9 or 10 years. Anything that's been thrown in front of him, people said that he couldn't do. He's more than done it. He excels at it. He is a talented young man that understands, he has that sixth sense about him in the cattle feeding business. He actually has a unique ability to work with animals, not only his horse, but the cattle. Most of all, he is just an inspiration and absolutely leads by example in his everyday activities.
I just like getting up every day, going out riding. Feels good to have a job doing something that you know is going to help somebody else out down the road. It's a good way of life. I like doing what I do.
He will take any challenge that you give him. We like to put Brad out there on any challenging pens of cattle that we get. When he goes through these cattle, he's remarkable for the morale of our company. And he's not a man of many words, he's a man of example.
In addition to recognizing individuals for their accomplishments, the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame is working to preserve the history of the industry. This project archives historic photos, stories, and videos so the rich history of the cattle feeding business can be shared for years to come.
The cattlefeeders.org, which is the website that we have for the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame, we have a history project going on where people can submit historic pictures of the cattle feeding industry, and we will archive them and put them on the website. And also, if they have stories they want to tell about cattle feeding history, we will help people write those and get those up on the website so more people in the nation can learn about this great industry of feeding cattle.
Honoring those who have significantly shaped the cattle feeding industry. From the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame event in Denver, I'm Russell Nimitz for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Still ahead on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
As a cattleman, it's really hard to put into words an event like this unless you come here and see it. You know, when you talk about 5,000 to 6,000 ribeyes that are going to be served right here this evening on this square.
We'll share highlights from our visit to the World Championship Steak Cook-Off. And next, we learn how one South Dakota ranch keeps their animals healthy and growing. We'll be right back.
You're watching NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman on RFD TV.
Both here, 210.11. I'm 210.11. Yes! Joe, Todd, how'd you do? Oh, not bad.
See what you have to gain at thelongrangelook.com.
We don't sit idle, wondering how we're going to build a better truck. We get out there and walk a mile, thousands of miles, in the footsteps of the guys we build trucks for. The groundbreaking Ram Heavy Duty, with 30,000 pounds of towing and 850 pound-feet of torque.
Welcome back. Bovine respiratory disease costs the beef industry as much as $900 million annually. For many ranchers, the battle with BRD is compounded by the weather. And for cattlemen and women in the northern states, where winter comes quickly and lasts for months, rapid identification and treatment are critical to the sustainability of their operation. For more on the weapons one family uses in the fight against BRD, we join Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Matt Fleck in South Dakota.
Passing the family operation down across the generations is something that's important to almost every rancher. Fourth-generation cattleman Jim Kerstead has made many changes to his family ranch over the years. All of them, including how he manages BRD, are designed to ensure the operation is successful for years to come.
I'm a fourth-generation rancher and farmer. Where the feedlot's located at, I'd be about 2.5 miles away from the spot where my great-grandfather homesteaded. It's the original home of my grandparents and parents, and currently my son has just moved there, and his wife and children live there, so now there's 5 generations of the family that have lived and operated right there at that original ranch site. We're a little bit unique to this area. In 1985, we dispersed our cow herd and built a finishing yard and converted to a yearling operation, and we run it that way for 20 years. Most recently, we've just converted back to a cow-calf operation. And our biggest problem is still probably respiratory disease on these cattle, and it seems like no matter what we do, it's there, and it's probably always going to be there.
For Jim, the experience managing both a feedlot and a cow-calf operation has given him a unique perspective on cattle management. It has also meant a change in how he selects his cattle.
There's only one other finishing yard in western South Dakota, and it has been a very learning thing to be able to bring these calves from birth to finish. And it probably is one of the things that I enjoy most is watching those calves, go through the different phases of of their production. We're really striving to try to produce, high quality cattle, and it can be pretty challenging to do. We presently are still buying some outside cattle and finishing them, but for sure our primary focus is on developing and growing our cow herd, and we're using a lot of the latest technology to do that. We're DNAing all of our bulls and DNAing our replacement heifers, and I think it's really a good thing to do. The one thing that it's kind of caused us is to actually grow a little bit slower, but I think when it's all said and done, we will probably have a better, much better herd than what we would have had if we wouldn't have used that technology.
It isn't just the introduction of DNA technology that has allowed Kerstead Cattle Company to grow and be successful. A strong business plan and committed family have all played a role in making the operation what it is today.
We operate about 60,000 acres, half of which is farm land and half of which is ranch land. And I have two younger brothers that manage the farming enterprise. I manage the cattle side of the enterprise. I have an older brother who is a commodity broker, and he tries to keep a handle on the risk management for us. And currently my son Ryan has just recently moved home, and he'd be the first of that generation to come back into the operation.
Despite the successes of the Kerstead family, there are also challenges. The weather can be tough, and the conditions can pose a threat to herd health, creating the perfect environment for outbreaks of bovine respiratory disease, or BRD. As the operator of both a feedlot and a cow-calf operation, Jim works hard to reduce outbreaks and minimize the problem.
On the feed yard, I'd say the biggest thing we try to do is control the environment and control mud in the pens. I feel like the mud's probably been the biggest issue, causing problems for us. And so we have large pens with big mounds on them. We spend a lot of time scraping and cleaning those mounds, trying to keep those calves a dry place to lay. Out here on the ranch, we've done an enormous amount of cross fencing and put in a lot of water lines to try to keep these cattle split up and into smaller bunches. And we rotate pastures. They're seldom in a pasture for more than 30 days, and those kind of things seem like to us they've helped a great deal. It seems like maybe one of the things that's been the most challenging out here the last few years has just been fly control, which has really been a big deal. It seems like it bunches these cattle up, and during those dry years we just had an enormous amount of dust, and I think led to a lot of respiratory problems late in the summer, early in the fall.
We'll have more from South Dakota after this short break. Stay with us.
Some call it a come from behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
Join your fellow cattlemen in sizzling hot San Antonio for the 2015 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's the beef industry's biggest convention, and it's great for education, networking, and fun. Plus, you can check out the NCBA Trade Show for the latest technology. It's the 2015 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in sizzling hot San Antonio, Texas, February 4 through 7. Visit beefusa.org for more.
Welcome back. We return now to South Dakota and reporter Matt Fleck for more on how the Kerstead family works to keep their animals healthy in all kinds of weather.
When outbreaks of BRD do occur, working with a veterinarian to rapidly identify and provide proper treatment are the keys to getting an animal back on track.
You have to remember that calves take time to heal, and the antibiotics in there are trying to reduce the bacterial populations, and then the calf has to overcome the infection. Now, if we don't set up a situation where the calf can heal, and so we put additional pressures on it, that calf's not going to respond as well, and so it keeps going downhill. So what we want when we want a therapeutic agent is we want a product that gets to very high levels very rapidly and stays for a very long period of time to actually protect against secondary infections, not that primary infection, but secondary infection that a calf might get.
There's no question in our mind that right now Zuprevo is the fastest acting one out there, and you know, where we used to evaluate from day to day, now we literally evaluate from AM to PM. I mean, we'll seldom treat a calf in the morning that's not back at the bunk light and eating, and really rather hard to tell that he was sick in the AM, and same thing in the PM. I mean, if we treat a calf in the PM, he's usually back to the bunk and going in the AM. That ability to give a single shot and take the calf back to his home pen and really not have to worry about him has really saved us an enormous amount of time.
The fast-acting nature of Zuprevo is among the reasons it has become the BRD treatment of choice for many cattlemen and women in South Dakota.
Zuprevo gives me quick results. We don't have to wait days. Clients that use it call me back in the afternoon saying that their cattle are already looking better. In this country, the low dose is pretty important to these guys. They don't like having to handle a large amount of volume. When it's cold out, we like that Zuprevo is very syringeable. It has a broad spectrum, and we just have really good luck with it here.
We have a lot of people wanting to use low dose treatment products that are first and foremost very effective, but also have a broad spectrum of activity. And when we first started talking with producers about the product, they really liked the fact that it was a 1 cc per 100 pounds. And once they started using it, the first thing come back to us was they could see the results. So they really like that it works quick, and then it stays with them for a while too. So it gives some extended protection so they can kind of go on to doing their other things.
The low dose and fast-acting nature of Zuprevo means producers get rapid results, allowing them to get back to the business of running the ranch.
You really have to have adequate concentrations in the lung tissue. That's the primary mission of the antibiotic. And in Zuprevo's case, it was an antibiotic designed for BRD therapy specifically. And by eliminating those bugs out of that lungs, we're causing less inflammation, which results in less tissue damage. And that is a key component of a good, speedy recovery.
When we first started out and you were treating those calves for 3 to 5 days, and you'd have pulls and they would start stacking on top of themselves. I mean, you've cut that, that treatment time by 5-6 times literally. So it's changed it enormously. For us, I don't know that I've sat down and tried to put an actual dollar value to it, but I know it's been quite a savings.
Whether on pasture or in the feedlot, faster recovery equals healthier, faster-growing calves and a better shot at money in the pocket for the rancher. In Quinn, South Dakota, I'm Matt Fleck, reporting for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more on how you can protect your operation's bottom line and win the battle against BRD, visit the website merc-animal-health-usa.com to learn about how Zuprevo can help you protect your herd. Still ahead, we'll hear from our friend Baxter Black. And up next, we'll take you to an award-winning cattle operation in southwest Iowa. We'll be back with more Cattleman to Cattleman right after this.
Some call it a come-from-behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
When it comes to your land, it pays to be smart. At New Holland, smart means giving you a wide range of options to fit your needs, like smooth cutting, plug-free conditioning, and versatility. Smart means putting more hay in the bale and leaving less in the field. It also means providing exceptional after-sales support and growing a legacy that goes far beyond equipment. That's New Holland Smart. Visit your local New Holland dealer today.
Welcome back. Take care of the land and it will take care of you. No one knows the truth of that statement better than farming and ranching families. And with that in mind, we continue our series profiling the 2014 regional winners of the Environmental Stewardship Award. This week, we head to southwest Iowa to visit Nichols Farms.
In the hills of southwest Iowa, it's not hard to find your way to Nichols Farms, with the big bull named Stanley along the road to greet you. Nichols Farms is known around the world for its purebred cattle genetics.
This year we're breeding 1,500 cows and heifers, so at any given time we've got about 2,000 head of seed stock on the farm. Our main business is selling bulls. Here in Iowa we will sell between 400 and 450 bulls a year.
The farm was founded by Dave's dad, joined by Dave and his late brother Lee. Today, Dave, his wife Phyllis, and sister-in-law Lillian work together in the operation, with help from a crew of dedicated long-term employees. Nichols Farm stretches across nearly 6,000 acres of owned and rented crop and pasture ground.
We've always had to buy land that had been abused, and our land, we've been our whole life taking land that was in crops and converting it to grass and hay, where most of our peers have been taking pasture land and converting it to corn ground. We think we're doing it right.
Much of the land here is highly erodible. The Nichols family does no-till corn and soybeans using terraces to help save soil, but they keep the majority of their land in hay and grass.
Cattle can graze, and in a managed program where stewardship and care for the land is important, you can have them out on the land and the land can be protected, the water quality can be maintained and improved, and I think Nichols Farms is a great example of that.
Dave is especially proud of a 160-acre section his dad bought in 1946. The field had been abandoned and was so badly eroded that not even weeds would grow in some places. After decades of careful stewardship, the land is now healthy and productive.
Because of cattle, we were able to utilize their manure and utilize the grass, and this farm now has a proven yield of 180 bushel of corn, and this hay crop this year I expect to get 6 tons an acre. So I started really early in life understanding that we are stewards of this land, and my dad's dream was that every acre of land that he owned, he would leave it better than when he found it. And it gives me a lot of pride to know that this land is what's going to feed our cows this winter.
While reducing soil erosion, the Nichols also protect water quality. They've planted wide buffer strips along the streams that pass through their land, and they've built dozens of ponds for cattle and wildlife. They fence out the ponds, running pipeline to stock tanks so the water stays clean and clear. Alongside the dry lots where their bulls and heifers are developed, the Nichols family invested in settling basins to ensure any runoff is captured and filtered.
And so we spent somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 and put up settling bases and structures, and we did this without government grants. We did this not because we had to, but because we wanted that any runoff of our lots was going to stay there. I just look back and think that was one of the best things we did.
As one of the largest purebred cattle operations in the U.S., Nichols Farms hosts visitors from around the world, and Dave is skilled at sharing the story of how the family manages the cattle and the land.
These cows are converting sunshine and water and energy and putting it into beef while they're improving the land.
I don't think most people know what they do for the environment in this area, what they do to save their soil. They're an example to other producers as to what can I do to still make a profit on this land and make it sustainable and improve the soil and take care of water quality.
A beef industry leader and passionate about the land he loves, Dave Nichols and his family believe stewardship pays dividends now and for the future.
My goal in life is I want to grow 2 blades of grass where my dad grew 1. I want to wean an 800-pound calf where he weaned a 400-pound calf and save the soil. I believe that we are stewards of the soil, but one of the reasons we're placed on earth is to improve the soil and improve life for people, and we can do both. And cows and forages improve the land for future generations.
Why not join Dave Nichols as a member of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association? To find out about all the benefits available to NCBA members, just call 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit the website beefusa.org. Just ahead, we'll have highlights from the World Championship Steak Cook-Off. And later, we'll hear from the cowboy poet Baxter Black himself. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Their best performance begins with Lifeline, a revolutionary performance product with a unique active ingredient. So they feel their best, breathe with ease, and move effortlessly. Bring out the greatness inside them. Learn more about Lifeline's unique bioactive proteins at watchthemthrive.com.
This isn't a job, it's a calling. Your hard work helps feed the world. Being linked to those who care for the land is our calling. For more than 175 years, John Deere has been a proud partner of the cattle business. That's why we bring you special NCBA member discounts, so you can get the right equipment, strong, rugged, versatile, and ready to work hard. Talk to your John Deere dealer to learn more about your NCBA member discounts. John Deere, committed to the land, committed to your success.
As passionate as we cattlemen are about producing beef, I'm thankful there are consumers out there who are equally passionate about grilling and eating beef. And one of the great celebrations of grilling beef is held each May in Magnolia, Arkansas. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter John Robinson was at this year's 25th annual World Championship Steak Cook-Off. And here's a taste of what he found.
Today was a great event here in Magnolia. It was the 25th annual World Championship Steak Cook-Off. But you're talking 81 cooking teams from all over the United States. It brings about 20,000 people to a little town in Magnolia, Arkansas that is really only 11,000 people at any given day.
There are some really good cooks here. I mean, there's some folks come from all over the United States here.
As a cattleman, it's really hard to put into words an event like this unless you come here and see it. You know, when you talk about 5,000 to 6,000 ribeyes that are going to be served right here this evening on this square, an event like this is huge.
Tell us a little bit about your rig and what makes it unique.
Well, our rig is made from scrap metal from the ground up. The only thing that was bought was the axle that it's riding on and the tank here that was an old propane tank. So everything was built from scrap. It's kitchen on wheels. And so we love it, and we love cooking steaks. right there. My boy BV, he cooks it up and he cooks it up right every time. So
this cooker is part of our family. It's a cooker that went through the EF4 tornado in Mayflower, Arkansas. 190 mile an hour winds. We found the rig, away from the house. It was quite a distance, upside down. As you can tell, one of the stovepipes is bent, but it was found 8 inches in the ground.
Number one, it's the size, I think. This was built to cook steaks. It's about 8,000 pounds. It's 22 feet long. We've got 4 pits, and we put about 25 pounds of charcoal in each one. And we can cook about 100 steaks at a time. We get about 25 at each pit.
But the key is the thickness, because most grills are made out of a much thinner metal. These are made out of 3/4 inch thick steel. So it holds heat. I can do over 1,000 degrees at the grate without flare. I'm a big believer in hot and fast when it comes to beef. I can do a medium ribeye in under 6 minutes. Of course, I let it rest a little bit after that. But high, hot heat sears it, seals in your juices, seals in your flavors. What's your favorite cut of steak?
Ribeye. Ribeye is my favorite.
I'm a ribeye man.
Ribeye, bar none. Of course you get the strips, you get the sirloins, and you've got the filet. But for us, the ribeye, it's marbled with flavor. It's surrounded by flavor, and you just cannot go wrong with a ribeye.
Sure enough, ribeye. It's an American cut of beef. You won't find one on the square that doesn't love beef. We're at the top realm. Memphis in May is going on right now over in Memphis, and I'm sure it's full of swine, but right here today, it's all about beef.
We enjoy good steaks in Magnolia, Arkansas, and we do appreciate all those farmers' hard work.
It sure is great to see so many folks excited about grilling ribeye steaks, isn't it? They hold the steak cook-off in Magnolia, Arkansas on May 16th next year, and there will be a total of $10,000 in prize money on the line. Still ahead, we'll hear from Baxter Black, and more of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman is just ahead. Please don't go away.
The Case IH Summer Sales Event is going on now, meaning you can turn the heat into red-hot savings. That's because all Farmall and Maxim Series tractors, along with our complete line of hay tools, are available with 0% financing for 60 months. But hurry, because while the Summer Sales Event is just warming up, it only lasts until September 30th, 2014. For more information, visit your local Case IH dealer or go to caseih.com/special offers.
No storm is too powerful for new Purina Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, formulated with ultimate weather resistance. That means more minerals in the feeder and available to your cattle. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals provide more consistent intake and balanced mineral nutrition to optimize herd health and breedback rates. See the difference at your local Purina dealer or visit cattlenutrition.com. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, another way Purina is building better cattle.
To successfully manage high-risk cattle, you have to do more than manage BRD or bovine respiratory disease. You must increase the value of those cattle. And cattlemen know they can't afford not to have a plan in place to help control and treat that costly disease. We learn more about a managed approach to battling BRD from Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter.
It's a good time to run stocker cattle in central Oklahoma. For Brian Lynn and his wife Carrie, the grass is green again and their numbers are growing.
In the program that I run, I typically buy a 4-weight heifer,
keep her 150 days, and I will contract that animal to a feedlot with delivery on a specific date. We buy sale barn calves that are very high risk. We have no idea what vaccines or what care they've had before they've come here.
The Lynns turn about 10,000 stocker animals each year. With the help of their veterinarian and technical assistance from Zoetis, they've developed a well-managed approach to helping control BRD pathogens.
Typically, we use Draxxin on arrival, and it keeps them healthy. When we do start pulling calves, we will use Exceed, and that works really, really well.
When cattle do get sick, they won't perform to their full potential. Producers like the Lynns can help protect their animals by using antimicrobials that offer broad-spectrum protection against key BRD pathogens, low-dose volumes, and demonstrated BRD therapy.
And so with the use of products like Draxxin and Exceed, we're able to treat these cattle, send them back to their home pen where they're more comfortable, less stressed. And, you know, with the metaphylactic use of these drugs on arrival, their most stressed time, when their immune system is the most stressed and at the lowest, we're able to put on board a product that's going to help the immune system fight off an infection and build immunity with our vaccines and allow the subclinical disease to really get taken care of by their own immune system. So it's been huge.
Producers can work to help defeat disease-causing bacteria, grow healthy calves, and manage their costs by implementing a comprehensive BRD management solution with Draxxin on arrival followed by Exceed for treatment if needed.
I don't know that there's another antibiotic out there that would help control mycoplasma. I like the fact that they have multiple days of how long they last. The Draxxin label isn't at 14 days and your Exceed label is 7 days. I don't really have a sick pen. I figure the calf's better off out in the open pasture, and so there's some really big benefits from how long the antibiotic stays in their system.
This twofold approach to battling BRD means that different modes of action can help outsmart the disease-causing bacteria, helping that healthy calf stay on feed.
We have multiple classes of antibiotics. We have antibiotics that work multiple days that we can use as a metaphylaxis. We have products that work very good for treatments that we can treat, send the cattle back. We also have, products that are short withdrawals, so that if there is something that you're going to need to be able to market in a short window, the animal gets sick for whatever reason, we're able to use those products.
Before I started using Draxxin and Exceed, I was a little bit hard-headed, but as my operation grew and I turned more cattle each year, it got to where I realized I couldn't keep up with all the sickness.
If you're getting more than 20% pull rates early on, the first 10 days, you probably ought to be looking at some kind of a metaphylactic use of Draxxin on arrival to be able to control the health of these cattle.
One of the biggest initial things when I started using Draxxin, the cattle started being ready on time. When you have a calf that's sick, it takes 30 days for that calf to get well then he falls behind. 25% of each group or herd of calves would fall behind and they weren't ready to go to the feedlot when the rest of them was. And when you figure all the lost weight that those calves didn't gain, it more than pays for Draxxin.
When we really started looking at it, we were really surprised. We started using Draxxin on arrival, and then we were realizing that our death loss was at 2%, and it was really great. Pull rate was 18 to 20%. But what has also happened is our cattle numbers have increased. So when we first started keeping records, maybe we were turning 6,000 head a year, and now we're turning around 10,000 head a year.
With more than 5 years of experience with BRD management solutions from Zoetis, the results on Lynn Farms are clear. By working with their veterinarian, keeping solid records, and staying ahead of BRD to help improve health and productivity, the Lynns have built a truly successful program.
It's definitely saved a lot of time because you don't spend all your time doctoring cattle.
It's definitely where I see the difference in that when the cattle health is better, my husband's mood is better. But it gives him more time to focus on the things that also make our business profitable, which is marketing the cattle is the big thing.
In central Oklahoma, I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Now, to see a video replay of this and other stories from the experts at Zoetis, just visit our website, cattlemantocattleman.org. The cowboy poet Baxter Black is next. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This business can take time away and become more of your family than your actual family. My days were tough. I had a lot of doctoring, a lot of pulling. Now our days on the feed yard are happy days. It's more about looking at the cattle and enjoying what we're producing versus the alternative, which is pull and treat and bang our head against the wall. We have never wavered from Draxxin. We've seen the benefits just keep getting better and better.
I'm an NCBA member because NCBA, they look at the facts, they look at the history, and they look what's good for the industry.
It's important to be NCBA members just because of what NCBA does. They keep us informed about a lot of things that are going on nationwide.
The reason we're an NCBA member is we think that it's the best voice that the cattle people have.
Join NCBA today. Head to beefusa.org or call 866-USA-BEEF.
If you're not using IMI Global's verification programs, you might as well set your money on fire. To give your wieners added value, no program begins without a traceable animal. Then add on BQA and other specialties and you open up a whole new market for your calves. You might be thinking, the market's so good, why bother? You ever heard of making hay when the sun shines? You got a choice. Get in the game or visit IMIGlobal.com.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, long hauls, never-ending chores. The unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W. Trusted.
Just bring her on home, the foreman had said. That is, if I found her, of course. In 17 sections of canyons and brush on the back of a nearly broke horse. Why he even bothered, I'll never know. That old cow slipped through the gather each year. I think he was hoping that I'd up and quit. To a smart man, it would have been clear, but I saddled up and made for the bluffs. Think like a cow's how I think. The creeks had quit running and most tanks had gone dry. So I figured she'd hunt up a drink. It was hot as a dashboard in Phoenix in June when the Klein Corrals tank came in view. I was stripped to the skivvies and knee-deep in cool when the cow come a-ambling through. Well, whether she jumped the highest rivet as me don't matter, 'cause she broke and run. Well, I swung to the seat slinging seaweed and moss, thus exposing my hide to the sun. She's picking a path while I'm building the loop. I missed the first 5 that I throw, but out on the flat on try number 6, are you listening? I catch her as she's starting to slow. I lay on a trap. She plops to the ground. I sideline her right front and rear. I figure a soaking will break her to drive, but my catch rope slips off past her ear when all of a sudden my pegging string's loose. She comes off the ground like a rocket. For a second or two, I'm straddled her head, and then she's blowing her snot in my pocket. Well, she might have been tired, but she plowed quite a while, using me to turn up the curl. When she finally got tired of smashing me flat, she left me head first in the furrow. Yes. Well, that night at the rancho, I told the foreman I'd bucked off. The story was cleaner. The renegade cow, he asked kinda snooty. I just told him that I'd never seen her. This is Baxter Black and Chaco from out there.
Thanks, Baxter. We always enjoy listening to your experiences. As producers, it's our commitment to beef quality that assures consumers that they're choosing well when they choose beef. If you've been putting off getting your beef quality assurance or BQA certification, now is the time to do it. Right now, you can get BQA certified at no cost thanks to support from Boehringer Ingelheim Vetmedica Incorporated. That offer continues through October 31st. To get started, just visit the website bqa.org/team. Time now for this week's Legacy Photos. Let's return to Nichols Farms in southwest Iowa. Why not send us a favorite picture from your farm or ranch? It's easy to do. Just visit our website, cattlemantocattleman.org. Well, that wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kevin Ochsner. I hope we'll see you next week right here on RFD TV.